How to create a sales plan for your business. Without a sales plan, you will not have cash flow, which means you might as well just shut the doors. Sales plans are critical. They're the driving force of your company. And so many of, I'm going to say us, the world, has been trained to be an employee, not trained in sales. And even if you went to an entrepreneurial college to get an entrepreneurial degree, even an MBA, you're not trained in entrepreneurial sales, meaning straight to the streets, who's going to buy your product and service, what problem are you solving? And again, without sales that comes from great marketing, you will not have cash flow, which sustains your business. So let's begin. We're going to talk about what a real sales plan entails, why sales consistency will always beat motivation, always. And last, how to stop guessing and start actually generating and creating a revenue producing day, a revenue producing week, and a month, so you actually can have the revenue and goals financially that you deserve. See, we believe that the sales consistency is a math equation. It is not an emotional equation. And so many of you start out the gate with the wrong energy because you have an aversion to sales because you're not taught it. And I don't know, I'd say 9 out of 10 people that come into our organization and become a client, their first words out of their mouth is, I hate sales. And it's like, well, if you hate sales, you're going to hate cash flow. And where do sales come from? Great marketing. So let's put this all together. Being an entrepreneur requires great marketing, get a lead. Great sales, move the lead into a client, and then count the money, called cash flow. It's pretty simple, but we're not trained to do it. So let's dig into a little bit of this. So again, what is a real sales plan? First, let's start with what's the problem you solve. So the problem you solve is typically somewhere in a product or service that's going to solve it. The bigger the problem, the more money you're going to make. So to hit some sales goals, let's just get some numbers on the table. If you want to make $100,000 a year, that's producing $8,333.33 a month. If you break that down in a 5-day week, it's about $416 a day. So you have to start thinking, what's the problem I solve? What's the product or service that's going to match the solution to that? I actually, in 2002, created a sales training process called Ask, Tell, Ask. You're going to ask people what their problem is. You're going to tell them why you're the solution, and you're going to ask for a credit card, a wire, or an ACH. It's fairly simple, but you have to be trained to stay what I call in the guardrails. Most of you wander off into emotional conversations and you start solving the problem before people pay you. It's a huge line that a lot of you cross, and you will not make money until you start drawing that line between what they want, the solution, then you get the money, then you solve it. And I'm going to speak to a lot of you women because you get nervous in your sales tension energy and you start solving the problem. Like if you're a coach or a therapist, you'll start giving the answer and you're not even paid yet. It's shocking how many of you do that and how many business models are set up to actually fulfill and pray to God you get paid. Bad sales model, bad sales plan. So what does it entail to have a sales plan? So who's your ideal customer and what is the funnel that you're going to sell into? So an ideal sales plan puts someone on an experience. So for example, our commitment in 3 to 5 years is to create you a millionaire. Then what are the steps you need to go through? So first you'd read the book. You might read other books. There's 6 total in my whole profile. Then from there, we're going to put you into a millionaire intensive, which I'm going to do that in the show notes. I'm going to give you 2 tickets. So you start learning what is it like to live corporate life. Millionaires are entrepreneurs and wealth builders. Now, you can save your way to success through, a big salary and things like that, but then you're overtaxed. So why are you having that invisible pain of overpaying taxes in the plan? So again, we're not talking about taxes today. We're going to stay on the sales side of this. So when you ask people what the problem is that you're solving, like the problem I solve is the conversation with money and the understanding at a common sense level about how money works. And money works inside corporate life. So when you go to the Millionaire Intensive, we're going to teach you that. And then we're going to put you into a continued education on how do you build an operating company? How do you build the departments of marketing and sales and cash flow? How do you actually do the structure of running a company? Because we're not taught that. So don't feel bad about it, but you got to have an operating company. Well, I call it a cash machine for you to have the highest advantage of making the most money and keeping it through proper tax strategy. One of the things that you really want to track in your sales plan are KPIs. What are your key performance indicators? So in most companies, you want to start looking at how many leads do you generate? How many new people are interested every day through every social channel, dropping into a database. So you can actually track how many people on every social channel, how many new people are in your database. And then from there, it's how many new leads did you get? And then you want to score them. So then you start looking at what's the quality of the lead. Is the quality of lead somebody who's just looking for free information, somebody who actually just wants to buy a book, somebody who actually truly wants mentored, coach, and to change their life and create a generational plan. So after you score them, then you look at the next data point, which is, can you get a hold of them? People click on the internet all over and don't remember what they click on. So can you get a hold of somebody to have a conversation, to set an appointment, and the appointment creates the close? Even if it's $20 to $20,000, you've got to have a sales system and the plan written around it. And the KPIs are critical. If you don't track it, you can't control it, which means you're emotionally selling and you're probably emotionally giving a lot away and not realizing that. And I know that because I was the master distributor of the cash flow game. I probably gave away hundreds of thousands, I'd hate to say $1 million, in free education because I was doing what a lot of you do. The minute I got an objection of what's the problem I solve, right, is how do you live this cash flow game in your life? And I would offer a solution and they would say, oh, but I don't know if I don't want to pay. And there are all these objections. Then I know what I did, which is probably what you do. You start convincing them and telling them why they need what you have versus stay in the ask, tell, ask. Again, cannot wait for you to go to the Millionaire Intensive. It's followed 4 days later by a marketplace where you actually can make money, make a sale, and create an order form. And we also were going to teach you how do you contract cash. That's a huge part of a sales cycle. It's not having it in your mind that someone's going to buy. You actually have a contract with deposits and a contractual obligation to either run their credit card or have a new wire or a new ACH every month or whatever your contract and your sales contract says. Now, as you want to learn more, I want you here on this channel. I want you to subscribe. Click the notification button. So whatever device you're listening to this from, I'm going to pop in. And every morning, 5 days a week, you get a new topic, a new video. If there's some topics that you're really interested in, go up and grab a playlist and listen. If you want to binge, in the show notes below is how to binge my channel. And we're going to give you up to $750 of credit towards a new tuition for binge watching 25 hours. So instead of this weekend binge watching Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, and one of those, binge watch this YouTube channel and we'll give you some benefit for doing it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in a sales plan is, again, stop guessing and get strategic about your revenue producing day. So many employees think that they're going to build a masterclass, they're going to write a book, they're going to have all these things built, and magically people are going to come and they won't. In today's world, we're in 2026, you have got to get out to the internet, to the social channels and say, I'm a money expert, what can I help you with? And ask people what they want. Design the solution based on the problem they say they have, not what you interpret or you think they have, because that's going to be a huge miss and you're going to build a bunch of stuff. I have clients that do this all the time. I have clients that have built beautiful courses and they've sold none because they're not coming. You've got to start with where the marketing leads. And in today's economy and today's environment, starts on social channels into a database. And you want to start tracking how many new leads, how many appointments, how many closes, how many times you have to talk to a client to get to a close, meaning you're actually collecting the cash. Anything above 1,000, I would contract. And we have all sorts of different contract examples as you become a client that we can help share. So you start building in a revenue producing day. If you're not looking at marketing, sales, and your cash flow as your daily data points, you're not in a sales organization, you're in a fulfillment organization, and fulfillment doesn't make money. It's what's spent after people have paid for your services and your product. And please do not deliver products. I mean, I can promise you, Apple and any phone store will not deliver you a phone without full payment or some payment plan contracted at that level. So start thinking how you're sold things. How are you sold a vehicle? How are you sold a phone? How are you sold a lot of things? And you'll start seeing the order of which it is. So instead of avoiding sales, which a lot of you do because you're scared of it, lean into it and think, I'm going to serve a lot of lives. And by serving a lot of lives, I'm going to make a lot of sales, which means you make a lot of cash flow. If you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.